about the light that comes with Epiphany. A season of glow, as someone has defined it. You remember how you can get glow sticks and you shake them or something and they shine bright until they lose their energy and then they fade away? Or solar panels absorb the light of the sun, but once in darkness for a long time, the energy dissipates. Epiphany is the liturgical season to soak up the light and to be strong again in our faith may become, no matter how hard our reality might be. We all have hard times. All of us become lazy in our spiritual disciplines from time to time. It's like exercising. There are times when I can come up with all kinds of reasons not to walk across the street to the Y and exercise. This weekend it was because I had a head cold and my mom told me I should stay in bed. Last week it was because I was just too busy. And I'm learning that being a member of the Y does not give me the benefits of exercise if I don't actually go and exercise. Well, it's the same with faith. Faith can grow weak if we don't work at it, if we don't exercise it. Do you remember the story of the young Samuel and the old priest Eli? The text said that in Eli, the light had grown dim. It was no longer making much of a difference in Eli's life. Because of that, Eli ceased to be vibrant, ceased to be a strong priest for the people. So in this Epiphany season, we're going to attend to the light in our midst, and we're going to do our best to soak it in and to grow our glow. Just that's a little trick, grow our glow so that you'll remember it. So, the more light we absorb, the more we will glow in the non-nuclear sense of the word. And we will be inviting different ones of you to share some testimony over these Sundays of how the light makes a difference for you when you're in hard times. So think about that. Many of you know that I traveled down to Hattiesburg, Mississippi last week. I went down partway on New Year's Eve and partway on New Year's Day for stage 4 of the Campaign for Southern Equality. I was very excited to be going. Had planned to arrive early. I don't often go to Mississippi. I thought I'd go down and I'd just look around a little bit. I thought I might see a movie because I hadn't had time here to see some of the good movies that are on the screen. And I just thought it would be nice to have a little leisure time to be refreshed before we started this campaign. But it was raining hard both days. In 30 minutes, I saw 4 cars in places that they weren't supposed to be, like over in the woods or down in the ditch. And I was about 100 miles out of Hattiesburg, New Year's Day, nothing open, and my car gave up the ghost. Threw a rod, the engine was gone. Now, luckily, I had AAA, and they do work on New Year's Day. And they towed me that last 100 miles, and they dropped me and my car off at a Motel 6 that cost only $30 a night. I figured I had to start saving money pretty quick. It continued to rain hard. I found that I had a head cold that was emerging. I hadn't eaten anything all day, and now I didn't have a car. Fortunately, there was a Waffle House beside the Motel 6. And a couple of years ago, I went on a trip with my good friend Ron Vinson to Tennessee, and I learned from him that you can actually eat 3 meals a day at Waffle House. But I'm really not one who subscribes to that philosophy. So instead, I found a Pizza Hut. And I ordered a pizza, and I ate the whole thing, and then decided to watch a movie in my room. The TV only got 8 channels, and the image came and went according to the intensity of the rain outside. So I turned the TV off, and I tried to read this new novel that I had gotten for Christmas, but my head cold had made my head hurt so much that I couldn't read. So I went to sleep early. And I had a terrible dream about drowning. I knew in the dream somehow that this was what was happening, although I had never drowned before. And I woke myself up. You know, you can do that. And I sat up in bed, and I felt terrified. It was an experience that I was not expecting to have. I wasn't expecting hard times on this trip. I went to be a part of this action that I thought was important, and instead I find myself in a cheap hotel room in a real funk. And you know what I started doing? Maybe you would do this too. I started beating myself up for not renting a car instead of driving my own. I started doing the math and thought of how much money I would have saved. I started going down this road about how bad I am, how I make bad decisions. Have you ever been on that journey? I was feeling pretty miserable about myself. And it was in that moment that I was able to stop myself and say, Joe, wait a minute. You have resources to help you. You have the strength in this moment to be and do what you need to be and do. You're not helpless. And I began to pray, which was very hard at first because I really was experiencing this sense of being terrified about drowning. I had to continue breathing. I had to continue to be gentle with myself, to quiet those voices of judgment that were yelling at me. I had to listen for other voices that spoke different truths. I still had enough glow in me to find the courage to be open and vulnerable and to let the presence of light and love massage my wounded places and calm my fear. I was able to regroup and find the strength I needed to move on and make the decisions that I had to make about the car and who I was going to give it to in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. The Campaign for Southern Equality sent a car for me to chauffeur me to the action, and then I felt very special. And then after the action, as we reflected with 5 lesbian couples who had gone and requested marriage licenses and been rejected, they shared this with us. They said, we all grew up in the church, all 10 of us. But we left, not because we hated God, because it was damaging to us to hear the discriminatory words from the pulpit about who we were. We had no idea there was a church out there that honored us as we are, whose light would shine on us as well as everyone else. We are so glad for the UCC. Thank you for coming and sharing this gift with us. Thank you for giving us hope again. Many of us on the team sat and wept as they said these words to us. And I thought about these words a lot as I drove back in my now new rental car. They thanked us for sharing a gift. The gift was the light. And I realized the light that comes is not a privilege that's just for a few of us. It's a gift that we are to share. It's not to be held and protected and hidden away. It's to be lived and shared in our day-to-day lives. It can be tempting once we find a community where we feel loved and accepted, where we don't have to protect ourselves from hurtful words and actions, where no one is perfect, but everyone is kind and gracious. It's tempting to just want to hold on to that moment, that community. Let's keep this for ourselves, we might say. Let's make decisions that keep things the way they are. It's a natural response, but it's a privileged response as well. Those of us who know the light have the opportunity and the calling to share that light with those around us. For there are lonely and hurting people in Mississippi and Alabama and even here in Asheville and even here in our church. Epiphany is a time when we remember that God came to us in human form to be the light of the world. and there is light enough for all. But to receive the light, we must be open to where the Spirit will lead us. We must listen to the voices that call out in the night. We must quiet the harsh and judging voices that would keep us in the dark. We must see the gifts of the light as those to be shared with all. Arise, shine. Your light has come. Wake up. Put your face in the sunlight. The whole earth may be wrapped in darkness, but God rises in you. God's sunrise breaks over you. And people will come to the light. Look around. Watch as they gather. When you see them coming, you will smile, big smiles. Your heart will swell. A rich harvest of exiles will come. That's Isaiah 60 from the Message. We are the exiles who have come, and others are watching, and perhaps they will come too. So let our light shine and glow in this season of brightness. Fill yourself up with the good news. Practice your faith. Grow it. Grow in the glow, because the light has come to you and to me. So may it be.